So let me make an assumption about you, the viewer. So you've probably clocked in like a good 10 hours of screen time by the time you're watching this video. You've been watching YouTube all day, every day. But today, just to pass the time, to find something that'll entertain you. Probably have a bag of chips right next to you. You've been binge eating all day. You've been laying on the bed as well. You woke up on the bed and you stayed on the bed for the entire day. Was this a habit for a couple of weeks, couple months or years? Oh yeah, that's probably a form of coping. And some of you viewers, you're, especially the ones who are doing what I just described. Some of you are probably gonna say, cope? What do you mean coping? I'm not coping. Nothing bad happened to me this day, or nothing bad happened to me this month, or this year. Nothing bad happened that will constitute me coping today. Well, this all relates to mental health, especially your mental health. And if you're coping with all this instant gratification and all this comfort, if this has become a habit for you, you're most likely coping because you have a subpar or below average or below good at mental health, right? Which, of course, you don't want that. You probably didn't know about that. You probably don't want that as well. Let me address this argument real quick. All right. I may be coping with all this comfort and instant gratification. But what's the difference between me and these fitness people, these people who work out? What's the difference between me and them? Because the people who work out are obviously insecure, right? Like, they go to the gym because they hate how they look, or they hate something about themselves. So they're coping. And people on self-improvement, they're coping because they hate themselves too. They're insecure. With an argument as shitty as that, everything is coping. And then when everybody is coping, how would you rather cope? Would you rather cope with comfort, instant gratification, which is inevitably going to bite you in the back in a couple of years? When some bad event happens to you and you don't know how to handle it? Or would you rather be the person who works out, the person who's on self-improvement, who copes that way, and then years down the line, they're able to face any challenge, right? Who would you rather be? And of course, the people who exercise and people who are not on self-improvement, of course, they're gonna be insecure to some extent. That's why they're on self-improvement, because they're insecure. Or not insecure, but at the very least, they don't like something about themselves. And doing something about that, like exercising, building skills, learning new things, that form of cope is obviously better than doing nothing. And I got on a little bit of a tangent, right? There's a video from First Man who talks way more about this. The everything is cope mentality. He calls it the teenager's mindset. He's got like a half an hour video on this. You could go watch that after this video. Or then, if I'm not on this coping, on the copium, so to say, what do? I got nothing to do if I'm not on this copium. Which, as sad as that may be, I understand, I've been there. But there are some things, like, to get into the self-improvement realm, but I'll describe what that is, what that means, how to develop yourself. So obviously, lay off of the instant gratification. If you're getting off the copium, you're getting off of instant gratification, right? So try and eliminate that. I know it's gonna be hard. I find it hard to this day to get off of some instant gratification, like binge watching the phone as well. Of course, it's all with effort, thin effort. So obviously, try and get rid of all the instant gratification. Build up just step into your discomfort zone, so to say. Try and live in there for as long as you can. And that will push away most of your comfort, your binge eating. Just try and eliminate all of that. And then next, try and indulge in self-discipline. Of course, if you wanna add this skill and learn this, build the habit of exercise, meditation, make a good sleep schedule, try to do some cold approaching. Everything you want to do, everything you want to build, you can't do it without self-discipline. Self-discipline is the ability to command yourself no matter what. If you can't command yourself to do exercise, if you can't command yourself to do a little bit of work, you can't really go far without the COPIUM. Of course, that doesn't mean you're down bad, or that doesn't mean that there's no hope for you. Self-discipline, like anything else, is just a skill, and like any skill, you can build it up through time, right? You can build it up. So focus on building up your self-discipline. Try some cold showers. Get anything that gets you uncomfortable, and anything that's like slightly productive at the very least. Do it consistently. You'll build that self-discipline. Next up, focus on education. Now, I don't mean school. I don't mean focus on getting a 4.0, getting good at math, getting good at reading classic books and understanding literature. Not that sort of thing. You already do that anyways at school, and you're probably not going to use that further down in your future. As far as I know, that's mostly useless unless you're focusing on some degree. Don't focus on that. Instead, what I mean is do some learning outside of school. Anything that intrigues you, any topics you want to learn more about. So obviously through books, through podcasts, through courses if you can afford that, audiobooks if you got the attention span of a goldfish and you can't read a sentence. Anything that gets you in the field of learning, right? Get into books that you're interested in, get into things that you're interested in, skills that you want to learn more about, things like that. Alright, next up, build some productive habits. Just like self-discipline and all that stuff. They want you to build the habits of exercise, meditation. You need a good sleeping schedule. Build the habit of eating clean, right? Make some healthy, high protein foods. Add some vegetables in there. Build that habit, right? We want you to build healthy habits. Healthy habits make for a strong individual. If you're a strong individual, you're a good individual. And lastly, this is the most important point as well. Focus on improving your mental health. You're not going to be able to do anything of what I just said before if you don't supplement all of what I just said with educating yourself and trying to improve your mental health, right? Like, take me for example. Look at my past. I started my self-improvement journey beginning of freshman year, last year. And I predicted that by now, I'd be leagues better than I was before. Big muscles, super mindful, good sleep schedule. I would not be addicted to the phone. I have no addictions. Of course, well, some of that is true, not all of that is true. And looking back now, I'm pretty sure I would have destroyed all those goals that I had if I focused more on mental health. Throughout the entirety of freshman year, I've had shitty mental health. And throughout the entirety of freshman year, I don't think I progressed at all in any of my habits, in any of my self-discipline, in any of that. I did no progress. It's only until recently I started focusing and reading up more on mental health. That's been getting better for me. Instead of growing like this, it was basically just a plateau. I'm starting to grow a little bit more like that. Of course, this is just the start. I've only recently been looking into mental health. Who knows, probably my future is going to go like that. I sure hope, right? We all hope that our mental health goes like that, grows exponentially. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Wish you well. See you later.